So here we have a situation where a resume has extended onto 2 pages, but it doesn't fill the pages. And sometimes this can just look like an afterthought, or the fact that you didn't put enough time into designing your resume to make it professional. So what we recommend is, if you can at all, either fill 1 page or fill 2 pages, but don't do this where you have part of your resume on a second page. How to fix that, though? In this case, there are lots of options, and I'm just going to walk you through some of them. I'm going to start by zooming in so that you can see clearly. And the first thing that you need to do is view your ruler. So if you don't see the ruler at the top and on the sides of your page, first start by going to View and then ensure that Ruler is clicked. Okay, that really helps for multiple parts of resume design. So if you can see that there's this big header which is at the top above the student's name and as illustrated in gray on the ruler. You can click here and drag up the header to reduce the size. Something else you can do to save space is, instead of having your address and information, personal information on multiple lines, you could actually put it all on one line. Or 2 lines. We're just going to type it. We could even move the email address up a bit. Keep in mind, you don't need to include your physical address. You can if you want to. It's not mandatory, and ensure that everything... Now, you don't want things continuing on to the next line below. So again, another way to ensure that that doesn't happen and to save space is to go back up to your ruler, and when you see the double-sided arrow, which is sometimes tricky to locate, you can click and drag to reduce the size of your margin. You don't want your margins too narrow, but most standard templates provide lots of flexibility and space where you can actually reduce the size of the margins. Okay, so now you've already saved a bunch of space. You can scroll down. You do want to ensure that you keep a nice double space or triple space of white space in between your paragraphs so that things still jump out at the employer's eye. But, for example, in this situation, you don't need to have your bullets this far indented. If you highlight your paragraph and drag your arrows over to the side, you can save a few lines that way. Since we're hoping that this will only end up at 1 page, we obviously remove or delete the second header. And then we're looking good, getting there. Just like you did with the header at the top, you can do with the footer at the bottom and reduce the depth of it. Look at that. Now make sure, you want to ensure that your bullets are lined up, and in this case they aren't, so we're going to click and drag over so that everything is on the same line. Now something you might notice here, and maybe I'm being too detail oriented, but you'll notice there's kind of a space in between these bullet points, and these ones are tighter spaced together. So to fix that, you would highlight the paragraph, go to the Home tab, and click this icon, which is line spacing. If you go into line spacing options, you can emphasize or choose, rather, how much space is in between each bullet. And if you, let's say, increase that to 12, and that's a bit too much now, isn't it? And now we've gone back to being on a second page with 1 line. Okay, we don't want to do that. So I'll highlight again. We'll go back to the spacing icon, line spacing options. Spacing after the paragraph, let's reduce that to 8 points. Look at that, how beautiful. Okay, so the footer is a bit narrow. You could maybe gain some space by just dragging this a little bit farther at the top. And now that should be good. So now if we look at it in a preview mode, it looks okay. I think it still needs a bit of work. This seems to be, there are some inconsistencies with the titles, but the purpose of this is to just show you that by playing with your headers, your footers, your margins, and the lineup of your bullets, which now I notice that these ones are not lined up with the ones below. So we're going to have to go in there and fix that. And just to make sure I show you how to do that, we highlight. Might help to zoom out. Okay, we highlight those bullets. We drag the arrow on the ruler over to the left. We line them up with the ones below them. And we do the same with the text. Now we've saved more space, and we ensure that our bullets are all lined up on the same plane. So now if we wanted to preview that, it's all on one page. It doesn't look too crowded. It needs a bit of improvement and inconsistencies, but you can see where I'm getting with different options that allow you to save space in order to keep things to one page. Now obviously the opposite is true. If you wanted to ensure that you were filling 2 pages because say you had 1.5 pages, then this could be a great way to do it by, making the margins in the header and the footer in the bullet points more indented. So hope this helps. Have fun working with your ruler and resume spacing.